Hey, good evening, true scalpers. Good evening here from London. It's 8 p.m. We've got about an hour to go before the end of New York. And here tonight with Justin over in the US. And
live from sunny Florida.
Hey, sunny Florida. So we're going to see what we can do in this last hour. We've had a good day today scalping the news on our small account. In fact, I've managed to break $100 for my account. It started out at $30. And this is the news we kind of traded today. Just going to refresh that and in.
Busy right now. Let's have a quick look as also on the busy side is gold. And to context, this is
watch Bloomberg and see if there's anything can get last hour. Obviously, most of the news has been based around Russia, Ukraine, and that is what has forced gold up to a new high. It's a high of 1900 as it broke. Once it retested 89.8, bounced, and then bang. This is the NY Open. We took the sell based on the news. Some good news regarding the continuing jobless claims was 15593. Had the building permits. So high impact, good news. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, but the continuing jobless claims is the main one. We took a buy on gold, and then we grabbed the sell. Went the opposite way, obviously on the open. It was pretty good. It's always hard when there's so many news events of mixed things. You really want the majority of it to go one way. So I waited for the move and got some good. Philadelphia index was down as well. So, but again, that's a medium impact one. And then we've had some Fed speeches. Then we've got another one coming up in a couple of hours, and then we've got some Japanese inflation. Yeah, will be good for the JP225. So yeah, not a bad day. Scalping on the small account, like I say, getting us over that $100 level, which means can increase my lot size. I've already got up to 0.02, so I might hang on that for a bit, then go 0.03 on IC Markets, which is my broker.
What does that mean for the purchasing power of the American consumer? It continues to go down.
Good thing we're still buying bonds.
There is the current.
What is that, Taylor?
We're still buying bonds.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
Play.
It's your daily
Until when, though?
Positions open.
Okay.
We are
30 more days.
30 more days of Taylor. We'll have a montage of this, Taylor.
But Taylor, you were pointing out a great note a little bit earlier coming out of Credit Suisse, though, really calling for some sort of Volcker
rates. That was it.
Here, talking about how you have to upend this market, how you really need to pop some of these.
Got $7.90, so about $8. It's pretty good. So it's about 10%, which is what we kind of aim for. So well happy with that. And we're just on gold. Leverage is 1 to 500, and the whole idea is trying to grow this small account. Grow it or blow it. That's the way. It's always harder with a small account when you're scalping on a small time frame compared to swing trading, but this is just to prove our system and the axe trading system is effective. This is like the extreme test of it for using fundamentals backed up with our axe trading system. And for those who want to gain access to this, obviously go to the website www.mohawkforex.com for information on how to join me and the guys.
So, and I mean, to Caroline's point, I mean, she was
and learn how to true scalp. We don't mess around.
Credit Suisse, who was on the Odd Lots podcast.
In and out, stealthy scalpers. But it's all. I say we look for 5 to 10% return on the investment per day, and pay ourselves a wage. That's what we're trying to do. That was the news today. Like I say, tomorrow we can look at GP retail sales, pound against the dollar and the UK 100, and then existing home sales after the US Open and the trading week with. We might not do the Open, depends again on the Russia-Ukraine news, what's going off as we're trading gold still at the moment. We have to be very careful that geopolitical news, as they say, is what is overriding technicals and all your minor news, or your retail sales reports, inflation, everything, all that gets wiped out the window when you're dealing with big geopolitical, and people get scared and start throwing their money out of equities and pumping it into commodities, such as you've seen gold and even silver. We just looked at silver, and silver's been on a steady climb back up to the high. It was $23.39. So of course oil as well, my other favorite I love trading is oil, and again that's been on a nice high, at a pullback in the consolidation period at the moment, as you can see, but still is $91 a barrel. So again, if we get Russia, they're saying that could be days before they invade Ukraine, we're going to see oil smashing through to $100 a barrel, I predict. Many people do well. So again, if you like trading oil, if your broker allows you to trade oil and you've got the bigger account to do it, then just keep an eye on that, because you don't want to miss out. It's bad news worldwide for us traders. You know, news is news, good or bad. That's what we like to base our trades on. That's our trigger. And we use the technicals of our AX trading system to tell us whether it's a good entry point when the news comes out, or importantly where to exit the trade as well when you're scalping on a small time. That's kind of our system. At the moment we're looking to get in on a gold sell here. Look, this might be a possibility. And RSI has just come out of the zone, looking here for 10 pips. Up on trend line.
So the market starts to correct.
But do people then not sell?
5 to 10 pips this time of night.
Maybe, and people stay in those homes.
See,
But there's a cycle, because you buy a home too, right? We talk about it, then you buy a bunch of stuff.
50 points is 5 pips, and just if you
activity, right? Momentum
view.
comes along with it. I don't know, maybe just as a
Brilliant.
student of
And we're
economics,
going to get out the trade, and we've done it. There you go, brill, in and out.
some extraordinary
Quick trade for you.
happened in the
We
last
just did that live, and there it was.
and I just still don't
There's my
know.
result,
And
281s, so £1.60, so that's $2. And there we go, we're $10.11 for the day, so we've well smashed our 10%. So that was it. I wanted to get a quick trade in live, and we've done it. Why did I take the trade? Well, as you can see, I had a break of our trend line as I was talking, and we had a break of the RSI at the neutral zone as it's been green for a fair period of time, and I could see it spiking down to our minor support level. I measured it. If I can get 5 to 10 pips, more than that I did, 10 pips would have got me about $3, so I got $2, so about 7 pips on that one. That was a great. Well, happy with that. A nice little win there.
Blinken told the UN Security Council that this crisis directly affects every member in every country in the world. A New York judge says former
I'm going to say another $2, it mounts up.
children must testify in New York Attorney General Letitia James' civil probe of the Trump organization.
Did you get in on that, Justin?
Where the Trumps had accused James of improperly
No, I'm trying to
gather
adjust
criminal
on my
evidence under
indicators.
the guise of a civil probe into asset
Didn't mess around, I just got straight in. Ooh, you could have got in when the RSI went red for an aggressive entry. You could be holding now for a bit more, but like I said, I just wanted to go in, get a couple of dollars and get out, so happy with that.
We're announcing an investment of $1 billion. $1 billion.
Yeah, happy with $10.11 for the day. 10% day. Yesterday, where we took some losses and we managed to claw some of it back because gold didn't go the way we wanted it to. Doesn't always. This is it. Nothing is 100%. But it's just one of those rare days. Today, smooth. No problem at all. You see now. See here. Chance of it pushing down. RSI is 37.
All right, Nance, thank you so much.
Broke the trend line. Is it going to bounce off that minor support line?
And give you a little bit more information.
No.
Former President Donald Trump and 2 of his adult children must testify
Get and see.
in New York Attorney General Letitia James' civil probe of the Trump Organization. A state judge just ruling that.
Yeah, New York
RSI hasn't kind of retested this level for a while. If we look back here, look, RSI, we can draw a line
James's subpoenas for their deposition at a contentious hearing earlier in the day.
Level
Lawyers
of
for
the
Trump's accused
is
James
there,
were
look.
improperly trying to gather criminal
So
evidence
33,
under the guise of
really good.
conducting a civil investigation.
This has been going on.
So
for
you
some
could
time.
expect RSI
Potentially
possibly
fraudulent
to
asset valuations
hit
of
that
the
and bounce up.
organization, while Manhattan
That's what you've got to be
District Attorney
careful of.
Alvin Bragg is leading a separate
Why
criminal
not?
case against the company and its longtime chief financial officer for alleged tax fraud.
Watch
A
this.
lawyer for the Trump children said James was, quote, essentially standing in the shoes of
Too
Bragg
Oh.
in seeking to question the Trumps. But this has to do with valuations of properties when it comes to, I think,
Big drops to
accessing loans, right?
all the
and,
main indices. Obviously, this is all to do with
pay
the news in Russia.
James's investigation began back in 2019. It was started after
2% down, SP 500.
Cohen handed Congress a trove of
That's
Trump
been the
financial
tone of
records and testified
all
that
of the
Scott Bosco
news today is
inflated his
quote
total
unquote
assets for
geopolitics.
service purposes
Everybody's
and, quote,
pulling out
deflated his
of
assets to reduce his
riskier
real
investments
estate
and
taxes.
Yes.
investing in
This
a
is,
lot of
you
portfolio
have a value
managers
on
with
something, that
billions
value
and millions of
applies
dollars
whatever you
under
do, whether it's
assets under
accessing
management are
loans
pulling out
on
and
that
putting it
property
into
or whether it is paying
a lot more
taxes.
stable
You
assets.
can't kind of change the valuations of it.
It's the
Okay,
reason
so
that we've
So
experienced a
let's talk
huge
implications
rise
of
on
this.
gold
Yeah.
Here we
today.
are in a
It's
year
been quite
where there are
impulsive,
midterm
but
elections.
it's,
Yeah.
Does it matter?
it's
for
due
the
for a
Democratic
correction.
Party? We don't know if President Trump is going to run.
But the more
again
bad
in
news that we get from
2024.
overseas,
Does
We
it
know that
more
rally
impulsive moves that we're going to
Republicans
see
behind them who
Exactly.
feel
here
that
stateside.
their former president is maybe being
Yeah.
unfairly targeted, right?
It's a good question.
Right, and so
True, yeah, there's
this
more
is
to
why
come
this
yet.
is going to be an interesting
Can tell.
political year, these midterms, and we'll watch it because it will say something about how Americans feel.
Or do Americans care more about inflation than anything else?
I don't know. It used to be your money in your pocketbook.
Well,
It's
that's
the
what's going on
economy
now.
stupid. It used to
Yeah,
be.
flat part of our KG
It's not so
brown
cool.
stuff.
All right, you're listening to Bloomberg Radio.
it's going to be an exciting time to trade for sure. Follow your strategy.
Yes, that's it.
That will keep you safe.
So we haven't a major pullback. We're in a consolidation period, as you can see here. A nice little win. End the day with. And if we're going to get another, wait and see if RSI tips down. So you could always wait until it breaks this level here, 35, before you get in again. Back into the neutral zone now. Look, oh, you could hit the trend line now and then dip down again. Go in for like 10. Always a correction. Okay, size 45. I didn't usually expect to get a trade. Sometimes it's nice just to chat, have a look at the market, see what we've done today. Silver as well. Silver's doing a very similar thing. And what? Zoom in. You need a bigger account to trade silver. You there just bouncing up what level. Size actually hit, bounced up. Quite a nice move. Fine. And now flat KG line. This a few times. Look here, look, the RSI came, went back, drops back out again. Get a similar pattern form there. It's got distance. This is the heavy resistance where you want to be taking a buy, confident buy, once it breaks the breakout zone, our trend line. I'm going to push up again, back to 46. That was a good entry here, good entry. Thought it might have gone down a bit lower, but you can see here, spiked and hit our level, hit our beautiful blue zone. Whenever we see zones on our Axe trading system, we know they're to be respected. Always a zone. So this could flash up, hit here, and come back down again yet. We get this wedge, our trend lines, always a good area as well, trading between.
Markets, headlines, and breaking news 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com, the Bloomberg Business app, and at Bloomberg Quick Take. This is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
What will we get?
Bloomberg World Headquarters. I'm Charlie Pellet. The selling is intensifying. 43 minutes to go ahead of the closing bell, with the S&P now down by 2.1%. Lots going on. A down day. That's the bottom line. But right over to the first word breaking news test for today's afternoon call. Here he is, Bill Maloney.
And good afternoon, Charlie. That's right. U.S. stocks are plunging today amid Ukraine tensions. Biden said the probability of invasion is very high. Dow's currently down 650 points. S&P's dropped 94, while the NASDAQ is off by 388. The U.S. 10-year yield falls to 1.97%. Gold is up 28. Oil is down. And Bitcoin is sinking by 7%. Among the main 11 S&P sectors, only utilities and consumer staples were in the green. And leaders to the upside in the Dow, Walmart and Cisco after earnings, while Salesforce and Caterpillar led to the downside. In other news, Bullard says that we may have to go beyond the neutral rate to control prices. And wrapping things up, Redfin, Roku, and Shake Shack all report after the bell. Live from the first breaking news desk, I'm Bill Maloney. Charlie?
Okay, we thank you very much. So a broad market sell-off right now to hear live breaking news over your Bloomberg. Type squawk, SQUAWK on your terminal. I'm Charlie Pellet. That is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
All right, Charlie, thank you so much. So we've been watching a lot of the markets. Just want to point out that we are going to new lows here on those major equity averages. In fact, right now down about 2.7% on the NASDAQ, as Charlie mentioned, 2% down on the S&P, and the Dow down about 1.8%. So as Charlie mentioned,
There you go, just retesting off that trend line. So watch and see if we get a bit of red, we enter, go for another sell.
We're actually seeing West Texas Intermediate.
Let's have a look at NAS. Let's have a look at NAS 100.
Yeah, down
See,
about
oh, look at that.
2.2%.
Yeah, interestingly enough. Hey, we got a really special guest with us.
Would have been
today.
trading
Mike
this
Wilson,
today
Senior
if we got a
Commodity
slightly
Analyst,
bigger
Bloomberg
account.
Intelligence. It is, I say special because he's with us in the Bloomberg.
Nice signals on the bear.
From
Yeah,
Miami.
each one's a winner, isn't it?
Now based these days.
Yep.
Mike, I want to start with oil and then, of course, talk crypto with you as
It's
well.
spot on.
Help us understand the oil
You're in the
movement we're
buy.
seeing today, because
Correct there.
if tensions
If you'd
do
held
remain
it.
as they have been rising
Yeah.
on the border of Russia and Ukraine, shouldn't we see
Bang
that
on.
reflected in
Always
higher
bang
oil
on.
prices?
Yes, I think oil's doing in 2008.
Pretty accurate, isn't it? For that, for you know, a lagging indicator, it's pretty cool.
Worry about that. So right now, it's got a very significant reason to be higher.
Look at NAS. Look at that sell-off. We're actually coming out of the oversold zone number 215 here. So yeah, you could be looking to take a buy on NAS actually. In fact, yeah, you should be. Look at that. You could be 29 pips NAS.
Well over $100.
Right in there now, live. It's gonna retest that first points of interest line.
Right now, what we're seeing is just a little pullback in that bull trend. And the
100.
key thing is we're seeing the great reversion.
I don't think I can trade NAS, can I?
The stock market's down. What are we down in the year? Almost 12% in the NASDAQ.
I don't think you should with a
That's what's
little
happening. So
account.
at the beginning of the year, we were facing, okay, the Fed going to tighten.
They'll probably
Now
a good
we're
buy
facing
to
the Fed
account, won't it,
easing.
with that? But I do like that. I do like the NAS.
Up 20%
We'll see if we can get an extra sell on
Well, that's
have a
what,
look.
I mean,
So
how
for
do we
NAS, we've got to
incorporate
trade one
crude as an indicator
one
of
lot the
inflation?
lowest. Yes, it is. Yeah,
Well,
one
it's
standard.
2008. Crude oil peaked at
And I've got to have. I've only got. Yeah, I need to have a bit more margin. Not much more. But you go back to trade it very accurately. There's not much room for drawdown, even with a 500 leverage, not with an account of $100. I could do with $200 really minimum before you trade NAS.
Is having a property crisis and is the world's largest net importer, and we're a net exporter. So
Sorry.
U.S. is very well
You can't lose or have excessive drawdown even once.
right now. If there's a
Well, that's it. That's what kills you with a small account. It's just a drawdown. Not so much you get the analysis wrong. Everything's possible in Forex. You know, things can come back to you, but you've got to have that one psychology to see red for a period of time before it comes back, and two, you know, the account size to handle that. But like here, look, this is a great, you're on a heavy support, look, so that's definitely, look at that, you know, you would have got 100 pips by now on that.
All the
Easy.
signs are starting to show up in the curve. This was one of the things, obviously, I was one of those people who did well.
Good one.
2008. I was just too early.
To retest at least the trend line.
Yeah, it is time.
I'm going to post that in the group. Somebody can read that.
And there's no better way. I mean, let's put it this way. If we have armed conflict in Europe and commodities continue to spike, there's a very good chance we're going to have a global recession. We're way overdue because we had that massive stimulus. They had the sugar high, and it's all going away, right? Every central bank on the planet is looking to tighten.
Gold, yeah, just ranging around, look, deciding whether to break or drop again. Hanging in that neutral zone. So really here, you just don't, you want to be waiting. You know, you could take a cheeky buy if it comes green and breaks here to here. You can take another sell like we did here and another 5 to 10 pips. And that's all you want to be looking for this time of night. Like you easily got with spreads maximum of 9 to 10 pips on the upside and the same on the downside. So you just got to wait for some kind of indication. You want the RSI kick down would be better because there's a bit more room. And also, you know, we've had such a massive bull run. We've only had this little pullback. Another one here that the candles are small. Momentum's running out, but we might be able to. We've got 25 minutes or so. Gold is still open on my chart. IC markets. A lot of stuff shuts down for that ghost hour between 9 and 10. Or the Australian Open.
So the way I like to describe gold is you can't hold the old
Keep
analog
watching.
anymore without having some Bitcoin in the space because it's a fact that gold is being replaced in portfolios with Bitcoin. It's a question of the duration of that. So I fully expect Bitcoin to come out ahead. And what I see is a very bullish gold. One problem with Bitcoin and all cryptos is they advance so much so far. They're still very speculative.
Neutral is going to pop out. If it goes to, if it can get back down to that 38, be a decent little sell again. Don't see a big move, but follow it and see.
I don't know if you saw this story about Javier Blas and Marcus Ashworth, why central banks got inflation so wrong, and it just talks about monetary policymakers misjudging commodity markets. What do policymakers have to be careful about as they look at commodity market moves?
So I'm a big fan of Javier.
Did you agree with this?
A little bit. I think the key thing is they didn't get it wrong. They were too late. Because it was the most of the inflation we're having now is not from commodities. Commodities are fine. Let's look at crude oil. If the crude oil catches up to its peak price in 2008 in terms of PPI, it'd be $200 a barrel.
Yeah.
So that's a bear market, and it's going to continue that bear market. Most of the inflation is from employment cost index, is from housing,
lodging,
and that's owner's equivalent rent and wages. So crude oil, that's why I look at crude oil as a great leading indicator, though, because its potential for reversion is what I think will lead this total reversion and everything. But right now, it's at that stage where there's a war, a potential war, and it's just bidding for that potential.
Like you know exactly why the bid is.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the geopolitical.
It's completely geopolitical because this is just going to make more supply come on.
We love when you're in town. We love when you're in Florida, but it's even nicer when you're in town. Mike McClone, Senior Commodity Strategist at Bloomberg Intelligence, here with us.
There we go, 44. We're red. Let's see if we can get something. Let's see, can we get anything on the table? Push down, 43. See it go 43, 44, 38. If we can get back down to that, you can see here, look, retested. It's almost like gold wants to just do a little bit of a correction. They're like almost scared to, but
Who wants to? There's just too much bullish momentum.
pin. 42. See if it's going to kiss a retest. 7.
Guess what else sold off today? Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Back down to 41,000.
Yeah, it's done well.
And the GU went on a bull run today too.
All back up now, look, again, back to 48. So 50, now it's going bullish. Could be. No, now it's going bearish. We're neutral, 34% neutral, so we're right in. Right in the zone. Looks like trying to form a little W. Like I say, we'll retest, could retest this zone and then drop again, so still confident we're going to get a test of this minor support zone, or then probably a continuation. You know, it's a true break once it breaks our breakout zone, which is 1901,279, as you can see there. Go 51, it's going to go green. If it goes green, if you want to try a buy.
Broadcasting live from the Bloomberg Interactive Broker Studio.
Vectors got back down to 50.
To Washington D.C., Bloomberg 99.1. To Boston, Bloomberg
Hasn't got the power. It might have. I mean, you know, again, it's just if the RSI is going to retest this kind of area, this 35, 30 bounce times. The most it got was, say, it was here. I don't expect it now to break that level of 1900. I might get see if we can get a few cents on a cheeky sell. This comes back down again.
Thinking about the Fed meeting in March?
No, I don't know that they're doing that.
Not yet.
I don't know.
Saying
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, it's in the background.
Hey, Kriti Gupta's thinking about oil because she's always thinking about oil. It's the focus of her.
I'm always thinking about oil.
Joining us in just a few minutes.
Yeah, it was a nice little buy look on NAS. It still hasn't really performed yet. It's still, you still got, look at that, 10 pips. So now it's dropping again. Look at back in on the sell. Perfect.
1.96%, have been down 2.1% a couple of minutes ago. The Dow now
NAS is really dropping, isn't it? Look at that. Back down to 19. Only will be taking a buy now if you see it curling up. As soon as you get these V's on the RSI, you go in the direction. So it was up there, quick 100, back down again. That's what you've got to do. On these little reversal pullbacks, you don't want to hold because you're going against the trend. Remember that. You're going against the trend. But you're still entitled to catch little pullbacks. When people just, that's all they trade. They don't like trading a trend. They like trading the pullbacks. I do. You know what I mean? So there's no harm in that. But you've got to know when to get in and out. And when to get back in on the trend, which is here. Look now. You've got a nice buy there and then drop back in on the sell now. I'd be selling NAS now. Look at this because you clear down. Next level. Damn, FOMO, man. Wish you got a big rookie.
Put your bigger account on a laptop. You can trade both of them.
Yeah, I know. I just can't be bothered to switch. I want to focus on this and see if I can get another, if we can get a sell before the end. See if it's going to drop.
Actually selling new vehicles around MSRP. I mean, that's what we were supposed to do. So what the pandemic actually did was press a reset button on the balance of inventory. Now, the key question is,
pushing down, look, come on.
Are we going to take the advantage of that reset button that's been pressed, and in conjunction with the OEM,
46, going back red again.
Maintain good new car pricing.
And today we're seeing AutoNation shares reset lower, down now by 4% among some of the other companies out with earnings. Walmart reported this morning, shares are up by 3.4%. Cisco reported last night, shares up now by 2.9%. Among the names reporting after the closing bell today, Roku, Shake Shack, and Dropbox. I'm Charlie Pellet. That is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
Thank you so much for that update, Charlie Pellet. Well, as we do each and every day at this time, we turn to Kriti Gupta. She's a markets reporter for Bloomberg, and she has her chart of the day today. Kriti, you said at the top of our show that you always love to talk about oil, and then a few minutes after that, I get this email from you that a lot of people can sign up for if they just email you at kgupta129@bloomberg.net. That had your chart of the day, and guess what? It's about oil.
It is about oil. I might have made that comment extremely biasly, but it is.
Wait, is this because you're from Texas?
Everyone asks me that. It's really not. Fun fact, it's because I actually studied the Middle East.
Is this coming from Texas?
Fell in love with it then.
Okay.
What's that?
Is that why you're from Texas? You likes oil?
You know, when I was in Texas, I could not care less
Yeah,
about oil.
West Texas.
And here we are.
Well, now you can go back to Texas and school everyone.
It's a little bit further west than I
In
am.
theory, right?
Yeah.
I'll start with my chart of the day, though. Maybe that'll get me one step in that direction. It shows backwardation. It's going to get real nerdy, folks, so just kind of stick with me here. Basically what it shows is the spread, the difference between the second-month contract and the contract that comes after, the third-month contract. So what's normal for oil is that the need for oil, healthy demand means that the need for oil means that prices right now are going to be more expensive than prices down the road because it means you need oil right here, right now, and you're going to use it. It means the economy is growing, and that need is pretty dire. In terms of recessions, the future contract price is higher than the price in the present because it means you don't need that much oil because the economy isn't churning. So it's pretty normal to have this spread be positive. That means healthy demand. But right now, that spread is so strong, it's so wide, that it's as wide as it was in the Gulf War of 1991. Now, quick history lesson, that's when the United States and its allies invaded Iraq and Kuwait to kind of prevent Saddam Hussein at the time from taking over. So naturally, it kind of hit the oil market, and that was really when you saw oil supply really getting constrained, or the expectation of that. So to see demand be as strong as it was is in 1991 during wartime, it just kind of speaks to how strong the rebound is right now and how short of a kind of supply there is of oil right now. So that's my chart of the day.
Is there really a shortage in supply?
Yes and no. So it's a relative shortage, which means that the kind of ramp
Oh,
up
again, look, ranging, still hovering around, as you'd expect. This time of night,
you're
look,
not necessarily seeing power outages, for example, or
47.
surging
Just keep watching it.
in gasoline or
Keep watching it. I'm still, want to get in on a trade if I can.
the fact that some of these major producers, shale producers, Russia, for example, this is one of their big concerns. They just can't ramp up capacity that quickly. So OPEC Plus, which is kind of the cartel that controls all of this, they are saying that there's only two members that can ramp it up, Saudi Arabia and the UAE, and the rest of the members have actually fallen short of those supply targets. So in a way, yeah, there is a little bit of a shortage.
Okay, because I'm trying to understand, like, I go to the gas station, there's never a problem. I haven't heard any airlines saying that they don't have jet fuel.
Here.
Right, so that's why I'm trying to understand how much is geopolitical and just the economy, global economy kickstarting itself again post-pandemic versus something else.
Yeah, well, so part of that you're going to see in prices, right? The prices are actually getting higher. So you are seeing that there is a supply constraints, I should say, is a better way to say it. There isn't a shortage because you're right, there is supply available, but that it's not. There isn't as much of it to make it accessible and cheap, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, there's a process, right? There's a time lag in terms of, getting it to the desired entities, I guess, ultimately.
Hey, Creedy, I want to make sure we give you time to give us your story that you got your eye on today. It has to do with Walmart earnings. Why did it pique your interest?
Mostly because I love Walmart. I love cheap things, and Walmart is great at that.
Is that because you're from Bentonville?
I am not from
I know,
Bentonville.
I'm just kidding.
But I did grow up 5 minutes away from a Walmart supercenter. So
like
I'm
90% of the country or something. There's that stat.
Yes, you tell me that every time I mention Walmart, and I love it. But I am one of those people who lives in New York City and is very sad there's no Walmart supercenter near me. But one of the reasons I brought it up is because they had some blowout earnings. They came up with a $10 billion buyback as well at a time when there is kind of this concern that are people going to be able to continue paying and continue to absorb costs? And Walmart says, yeah, not only have they been doing that, but they're going to keep doing that for the next year and a half.
Yeah.
Dropping.
They got the power.
They definitely do. It's an interesting story, right? It's a great read on consumer consumption, but it's also in terms of how they're managing some of the higher
43, look, we're going to get it. We're going to get a little
or
drop.
Stock up 3.5% today.
Yeah, on a day where the broader markets are just
43, 44.
Tip the hat.
Come on, just come down, retest this.
All right, Creedy, thank you so much. Be well. Creedy Gupta there of Bloomberg. Let's get a check on the latest world and national news. Back to Nancy Lyons in D.C. Hey, Nance.
Thanks, Carol. A stern warning today from Secretary of State Antony Blinken. He talked about the escalating crisis between Russia and Ukraine in a speech to the UN Security Council. He told them the U.S. has seen no evidence of Russia's claim of a withdrawal.
Here we go, it's on the move.
In fact, he stressed that Moscow may
42 would be a good move.
It could be a fabricated so-called terrorist bombing inside Russia, the invented discovery of a mass grave, a staged drone strike against civilians, or a fake, even a real attack using chemical weapons.
Right, fake so much, didn't they?
Russia announced that it had expelled the deputy chief of the U.S. diplomatic mission in Moscow. The State Department calls that an escalatory step. President Biden's climate agenda already faces an uncertain future in Congress and now risks being gutted by the Supreme Court. Bloomberg's Amy Morris explains.
The president's promise to cut greenhouse gas emissions might depend on how the Supreme Court reads environmental regulations. The court will hear arguments February 28th from coal plants trying to curb the EPA's authority to regulate carbon dioxide emissions. 15 major tech companies, including Apple, Google, and Tesla, sent a brief to the court supporting the EPA's authority. If the EPA loses, it still has options, like requiring coal plants to burn cleaner fuels. In Washington, I'm Amy Morris, Bloomberg Radio.
The president today went to Lorain, Ohio, to announce a new $1 billion investment
We're going to get 40 on the
in
RSI.
Great Lakes region. He says that money is part of the signature bipartisan infrastructure bill and will go toward cleanup and restoration of the lakes. Global news 24 hours a day on air and on Bloomberg Quick Take. Powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts and more than 120 countries.
39 the RSI. And they hit our 38.
Thank you so much. Carol Master, Tim Stenovic in our Interactive Brokers studio on this Thursday. Just checking out the most read on the Bloomberg terminal in the past 8 hours. And up pops
38
a
was the
story
lowest it got
about
to, remember.
private schools in New York City and the school tuition topping $60,000 as kids are coming back.
Sorry, I'm just having a nervous breakdown.
You and I were
right
talking
now.
about this morning.
Yeah. We talk a lot about supply and demand, Carol.
Yeah.
And there is certainly demand for these elite private schools here in New York City.
Absolutely.
And there's a dearth of supply, but there is a supply of students and parents, I should say, who are ready, willing, and able to pay for it.
If you live in the New York Metro, and specifically in New York City, this is one of the things, especially if you have kids, you're constantly talking about education. And there's, for years, the story about even how you have to think about as soon as your kid is born, maybe before they're even born, to get on
This
the
is
waiting
why nervous breakdown.
to get on the waiting list for schools to get them into like pre-K,
God.
because it's so competitive. Well, the price tag for an education at top tier institutions, and so we're talking about, I think they begin kindergarten. I think some of them do pre-K, but go through high school. So they're reaching new highs for the upcoming academic year with tuition increases of as much as 5% at least 2 schools, eclipsing the $60,000 a year mark. This is according to parents' notices seen by Bloomberg. So the Spence School at $60,880 and collegiate $60,000.
Push down a bit more.
Yeah, Horace Mann is up there. The Chapin School, Grace Church, I believe, is in Brooklyn. I believe so. Nightingale's up there. The Brearley School, and Dalton as well. Dalton coming in last on this list of how much it costs, but still going to set a parent back $57,970 for that academic year.
And we ran a lot of stories, and I think you all have read them, that during the pandemic there were a lot of parents that were saying, "Well, wait a minute, my kids are
38. Look, it's going to break the 38. Let's wait and see."
They're not at these institutions. They're not getting the benefits, and some people were balking. But now that kids are back in class, raising prices.
ASEAN is a bloc filled with diverse cultures and rising economies. At the heart of its innovation is Singapore, also globally renowned for its economic stability. HSBC has been part of Singapore's growth for over 100
Got another 65 and 57. So I've got another $1 there, for $11.77 for the day. Just grabbed a little sell on that. See if we get any more.
ASEAN is a bloc filled with diverse cultures and rising economies. At the heart of its innovation is Singapore, also globally renowned for its economic stability. HSBC has been part of Singapore's growth for over
Oh, there's the trend line. Look at that, Justin. That's what we wanted to see, wasn't it? We're done. Yes, excellente. $12.64. Brilliant. There we go. Got in on that sale. And there's the proof of the pudding. There you go, guys and gals. Ooh. 4 trades there. We've got 60, 57, 65, 30, and we've done 6 trades in this session. And now we're $12.64 for the day. So we are 15% or so. So brilliant. A great return on the investment. 0.2 my lot size. We're $106.65. Then we've got another dollar there. We've got another dollar here. $2, $3. So brilliant. $3 in this session. So trading the small account. All live, and that is just following the RSI. That was it. All they did was wait for it to go red. As soon as it went red, I entered a sell. Exactly. I entered the sell here, and we entered a sell here. There you go, bang bang. Flood the RSI in conjunction with that price action, and I said it would retest the minor support it has. And again, you can hold if you want. I just took what I took there. I took my 5-10 pips, which is all I try and look for, which is this time of night. We've got 10 minutes before the end. Nice easy sells. Just that. And if you relate that to a bigger account, you know, that could have been $1,000 today, $100 today. You just trade it the same way. You just use system. Just increase your lot size as and when your account size increases.
Goal is compound an account to a point where you can live off your daily profits. If that's $1,000 a day, if that's $500 a day, whatever the goal may be. Once you compound it up to to an amount that you've got, you know, enough savings in the bank, so to speak, if something does go wrong, and then you can live off your profits for the day.
You got it. That's exactly right. So that's it. We'll just have a chat for the last 5-10 minutes, but I'm not going to be trading anymore. That is it. You know, even though this position looks good to continue on downwards, it's broke our line here. It's in at 34, 33, but we know we're 10 minutes away from less than the end of the session. So we can pick this up again in Asian session, because you can see where you're going to get the correction to, 1896.
10 minutes away from the trap area.
Yeah, you'll get stuck in the trade.
Yep. I don't know about you, but I don't like holding overnight.
No way, I panic.
S&P down 82, a drop there of 1.9%. The Dow's tumbling 564, have been down as many as 667. Right now we're looking at a drop for the Dow of 2.63%. Nasdaq down 362, a decline there of 2.6%.
Yeah, exactly true. Exactly. Booming again.
1897
The
West Texas Intermediate crude tumbling 2%.
Go.
91.79 a barrel on WTI.
Yeah, it's pushing down nicely. Not at 33 now. You know, but you know, if this was normal, you know, normal hours, normal trading hours, we would probably hold this a little bit longer. We'd get the 100 points, 10 pips. But when it's this time of night, you can be easy stuck in a trade. Like here, you know, if I'd held up, it would have bounced on me. It would have spiked on me, and people would have panicked here. But again, the axe trading system keeps you away from ending your trades. Because look, we've got a flat KG line, we had a trend line, we had no green on the RSI. Why would you end the trade? Yes, if it breaks here and goes green, if you want to be risk averse, get out, re-enter. But if you were in a sell here, you'd still hold, because you know your stop loss would be above the blue zone. This is what I keep telling everybody. If you entered a sell here, say, and you hadn't taken any profit, where's your stop loss going to be? It's going to be there, above the blue zone, and you could well set your TP at kind of there now, look. And you know, if you were doing this trade now, I'd be ending the trade now, taking my money off the table. I wouldn't necessarily be waiting for it to come down here, because it might not make it. Your stop loss, look, would be here. And okay, it's 0.5, but it doesn't matter. It is what it is. This is the safe area to set a stop loss, so you don't end your trade prematurely, which is where most traders, especially scalping, lose. Most traders lose because of stop loss, not because they've got the trade wrong. That's the key. I'm not saying don't use stop loss. I'm just saying put it in the correct position.
Or set your mental stop loss that, hey, if it gets back up to this zone, I'm going to end the trade.
You got it.
Because there's a reason. A lot of your big hedge funds and your brokers have AI-powered software that seeks out losses and tells them how to engineer their trades and how to structure their trades in order to gain the most profit. And they'll spike you out, and then they'll bring it back and go the same direction that you were trading.
Yeah.
For this Thursday, let's get to it. Let's get to the drive to the close.
Yana Barton is Equity Portfolio Manager, who now focuses on tax-managed equity and core equity strategies at Eaton Vance. Yana joins us on the phone from Boston. Yana, how are you?
I'm doing great. My timing could be better. I think to join you guys only on red days, but
well,
that's okay.
It'll spike back up off of that support area.
Yeah, which is what we, you know,
and you know, I see the S&P 500 down. You know,
what we knew
know
would
it's
happen.
running out of gas. We know it's range time. You know, at this time of the day, you nip in and get quick profits and get right back out.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Again, there are lots of questions with very few foolproof answers, a lot of uncertainty, which obviously investors don't like, but you name it, and the visibility is murky, whether it's policy, geopolitics, growth, inflation.
That's what it's all about. That's true scalping. That is true scalping, you know, is like you say, is knowing what time of day when's the best time to hold trades, and we don't hold long, but we do still hold every now and then, and when's the time to true micro scalp in and out. We know things like the Fed speech, we scalp that, we get in and out, we take some green. Now you take some green, you get out. You know, there's no preset rules in trading, and that's the hard thing you've got to get your head around, because everyone wants it to be formalized, which would be perfect, you know, and everyone would be winners all the time, but it's not. So you've got to take each trade, each time zone, you know, for its own merits. There's no harm in taking the green, getting the profits, and getting out. You're not a bad trader just because someone says you could have held, or why didn't you hold, or you've cut your winners short and all that. That's bull. There's no such thing as that. You know, you're talking to people who probably lose more than they win. What would you rather be? Someone who wins a lot? You know, small wins? Rather than someone who's waiting for one big win and is stressing and sweating because they're holding a trade, checking their phone every 5 minutes, checking their chart when they're at work or shopping, and getting nervous when they see a pullback or going to drawdown. I can't handle that. I don't want a heart attack. Not yet.
Not yet.
But you're told, and I was told when I started. No, you know, you hold your losers too long, and you cut your winners. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. It doesn't matter. A win's a win.
I heard the same rubbish whenever I started.
Yeah. As long as you've got more winners than losers, then that's what it boils down to. I'm not bothered if some of our students are holding for 30 seconds or 30 minutes. At the end of the day, it's what does it stack up at the end of the week? Are you in profit at the end of the week? If so, you're in the top 10%. Because most people don't. That's the God's honest truth. So find the system that works for you, and this works for us. We enjoy scalping and trading like this.
Well, so okay, it is tricky at this point. I mean, how many of your clients, Yana, do you say, listen, this is volatility? I'm looking at the VIX.
It's a lot of fun, especially with a good support team behind you.
No kidding. We know it's a volatile environment. How many of them do you say kind of stay put? Let's see where this settles, or how many do you say, here's the transparency, or here's the visibility that we have, that we know the next 6 months are going to be
the
X,
5 to
and so
10%
we should do it.
of people that succeed, primarily because of a great support team. The 90 to 95% that fail are trying to do this alone, and it takes a good support team teaching and harping on the strategy, keep pressing you with the rules. That way you stay disciplined, you stay consistent, you stay profitable.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing here at Mohawk.
We're using this volatility to kind of lean into laggards and take some money off the table in areas of the market.
That is so true.
And that's exactly what we're doing right now, which is why I'm mentioning utilities. Healthcare is an interesting area. Materials is an
You can see there. Look at
Oil
that.
down 2% on losing Iran deal. Russia, Ukraine limits loss.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we've been pretty active in harvesting losses as well.
So,
it's all about
investing.
Excellent.
Where are we when it comes to
yeah.
the cycle that we're seeing, at least in terms of this?
Oil down 2%. Yeah.
Declines for the S&P 500.
Elon Musk tweets and deletes. Nice.
At levels that we last
Whoops.
less than a month ago, back in January.
He was telling everybody to delete Facebook. I read a little news article on that this morning.
Oh, what a great.
Look at that. See, gold rises as the indices drop. Yeah, that's the way.
We're waiting for as investors to give us some more clarity. Obviously, during the March 16th, 17th meeting of the Fed, we will know how fast.
Wasn't that way yesterday? Gold was rising, indices are rising. Now today, whenever they confirmed that Russia was strengthening their presence at the border, gold rose, stocks dropped.
See, look at Dogecoin. Look, that's where he's ditched it. From 15 down to 13 now on a heavy support though. This is all Elon Musk again. Look, obviously Doge follows a lot of Bitcoin moves, but obviously Elon Musk tweets and stuff. We should get a boat for 14 post that. For those who like trading it. When I trade Doge, I've got Doge.
Exactly. And this is where you need to know your fundamental stories, which is many would would say, and understand it. Where don't you want to be, though, that you feel with certain confidence, at least on the equity side of things?
My colleagues would probably not like this answer, but anything that sort of is driven by things we can't control as fundamental investors. I mean, to me, an area like energy, I understand why it has done so well, but I look at the scorecard of all the sectors. You've got one.
Yeah, look, all you got to do on Doge is wait for the green. Wait for the green on the RSI, get the buy. You can see where you're going to take some profit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. But just don't jump in for a buy until the RSI is green. You've had 2 lots of hidden bearish divergence, pushing it down, look, from 5 candles. But now you're on heavy support. A good chance of hit. It's crossed the average line. It's easy analysis. You know, I'm not saying jump in and buy now. I mean, Doge is going to go up. Okay, I just believe that anyway. So, like a lot of crypto, so it's not like trading indices and Forex where you get big, massive, you know, movements. It is, you know, overall this is going to go up. It's just retesting previous levels. You know, it went down to 10. And obviously it's tweet and news based as well, but we like that. But this is where, you know, if I was looking to take a buy here, I would have got in here. I would have got out and waited, then taken the sell here, taken the sell here, taken the sell here, and here as well. So, but here wasn't a heavy support zone. It's nothing. Actually, risk taking a buy there. There's nothing to base that on. No support. Whereas here, we've got a decent level of support. There you go, gold. Look, just ranging. Like I say, drop down. Try to retest our minor support. We got in and out. And as you can see, look, here's the level. Mine looks that zone. Again, to be a true sell now, you want it to be breaking 35. You're really risk adverse. You know, don't just take the sell as soon as you see a red candle forming. Wait for the RSI to dip below that 35. Then you can take a re-entry at 25.
Gold up. We really see a flight to safety, even though volumes, as we say, have been muted.
Can we talk about gold? I mean, 1.5% on spot gold.
Here's our KG line, flat look. Here there's going to be some resistance. RSI's got to break our average line here to be a buy, and I want to see it break the KG line. So
For safe havens, you've seen some positivity as well when it came to the dollar strength index as well, and of course bonds catching a bid as yields fall. I mean, again,
a couple of minutes left.
Down 15 basis points or so from some of the peaks that we had at one point on the 2-year yield.
Back to highlight a couple points about trading psychology and building good discipline. I heard this broke down the other day by another trader. On average, per year, in a bull market, indices rise about 7%. That's per year. So if you can do 5 to 10% a day as a trader, you're doing phenomenal. And if you set those rules for yourself, you won't be overtrading. But to see that in comparison, if you can make 5 to 10% gain on your return on investment per day, you're doing better than the stock market. Whenever I heard that broke down, that was powerful.
Wow.
I just wanted to share that.
Let's take a look at the Nasdaq, because the Nasdaq has remained in.
That being said, all stock markets or all indices are down at least 2% for the day.
On the 100 on the day, Carol.
Yeah, some pretty big numbers. You know, it did go up today.
I say that's pretty powerful, and that's true. You know, that is the truth.
So we're looking at about 28 and change on the VIX. So no surprise.
That's struck home with me because, you know, whenever I train or mentor someone, you know, I tell them, you know, it's 5 to 10%. It keeps you from over trading. It keeps you in the money. If you set those goals for yourself, 5 to 10% a day, you're gonna do fine. It's whenever you start getting greedy and over trading that you're gonna start losing. You're gonna start blowing accounts.
Yeah,
that's what's kept me fairly safe.
Down on the bottom, of course, sort of a classic risk-off day, if you will.
Yeah, it's good to know, isn't it?
Semiconductors and auto.
Not that we all don't have the occasional bad trade or crap day or bad streak, but you know, slow and steady wins the race.
Gaining up 4% here at the close, surpassing Wall Street's quarterly estimates. We talked about this throughout the day here on Bloomberg. Upbeat to about its sales forecast for the current fiscal year, and this is despite persistent cost pressures and flagging consumer sentiment. That was an outperformer. Cisco broke the numbers down yesterday after the close. It ended up just shy of 3%. A big buyback reauthorization increase. Earnings last night projected strong sales as well. And then I do want to
Saying their trade safe to everybody, because we'll be back next week for more lives. Now I'm back. And you know, a couple of weeks we'll be building back up to NFP again. It's amazing, isn't it? Already.
Lambos.
Oh, mini Ferraris, yeah. Mini Lambos. Hey, look at gold again. Look at that. See, look, didn't do it. Look, back down 46. You know, see our trend line forming. Back to this wedge. Beautiful, beautiful. We'll get another retest. You know what I mean? Not that I'm jumping on the trade. I mean, I'm done, but I'm just. We love to analyze. Just using this chart, it makes it nice. And again, look at NAS. NAS sold. Could have got in on that sell again. And then we've got a blue support zone here, so you'd be out. And now, obviously, look. Again, you just got to wait for this to go green before you take a buy. Aggressive buy if you want up to that next level. Again, if it's 100 points, 10 pips. There you go. It's 26, so it's perfect. Again, you just got to watch for the watch for the momentum to build.
And Tim, I mean, from some of the highs that we had in the end of mid to 2021, you're down 45%. So,
Well, that's it. I think they're wrapping up. Meta closes down. Lowest since May 2020. Oh, goodbye, Facebook.
For example, that reports after the bell. They're not the mega cap tech stocks, right? They're not the meta platforms. But meta platforms.
This is what's caused the NAS.
But you're now starting to see those names. And it's not just Meta. I mean, obviously Meta is kind of the worst of that big bunch.
A quick look at the cable. Pound against the dollar. Ooh, consolidation. Yeah, you don't really want to be touching that. But a nice double bottom. Nice. Again, if you was looking to take a buy on here, you'd be waiting for price action to break trend and points of interest. And at the same time, the RSI goes green. And vice versa, if you're looking for a sell, you want this level to be broken and you've got to watch out for neutral support. This is our daily pivot. You know, so again, you'd have to measure the risk to reward on that. 5 pips is cool with a spread, easy achievable. Again, it's got a lot of traffic to break before it gets down there, but you don't want to be entering it once RSI hits that 25. But for me, I'd probably be waiting for some kind of correction pullback. But I mean, it's been on a bull run. It's just a weak correction. If you can grab 5 pips on the sell, down to the pivot, and then price action will decide whether it's a true break, the downside, or it's going to bounce back up again. You know, 136 at the moment. Just watch if you'd want to trade cable. Again, see how it moves in Asian session. And like I say, for JP225 for later on, big again, following all the indices, big sell-off because of all the news. You know, geopolitical news. The yen itself is probably be stronger. Yen ends up being like gold. People like to see it as a safe haven. Remember, this is the Japanese stock market, so you know, it's going to sell off like the others. You can see here big drops, big drops, big drops. Plenty of time, plenty of chances to get in and even trade some of these pullbacks. Look, 1, 2, 3, little winners, you know, all of them. But again, on this, we've got the Japanese news coming up. Inflation in 2.5 hours. So for you guys, this is what I'd be trading, and you just want to, you know, higher than expected Forex bullish. So again, I always go on the indices when trading this. And again, you just decide, wait for the result, get in on it. Do we want to watch later on? Gold, you can see ranging around. Look, you know, really is nothing happening unless it goes red now. Spike down, could have got a little cheeky sell again.
Yeah, it's really interesting because heading into this, if you look at shares of red.
So there we go. But thanks for Justin joining me from Florida.
Yes, sir.
9:10 now, as you can see, and we've had a good session. We did, we managed to do 8 trades, was it, in the end, or whatever, 8 winners. You know, more than last time. Sometimes you get 1 trade, sometimes no trades. You know, it doesn't matter. Like Justin said the other day, sitting on your hands and waiting is 80% of trading, and knowing when not to trade rather than just trying to take every trade. You know, because you can just look at the chart and convince yourself there's a trade worth taking. I've done it. We've all done it. You know, I trust to trade every wild bloody Mexican peso against the bloody, you know, against the Martian bloody krona or whatever. You know what I mean? I would try and trade anything. A plank of wood against gold. You know.
Yeah. USD Turkish lira. Oh Lord.
Woo! Oh, yeah, mate. Yeah, you know what I mean. You do. You know, I mean, you end up, you know, because you're so excited. You know, it's this new thing, and you want to trade everything, and you know, and you get some initial good luck wins, newbie wins, and you go, "Wow, I've cracked it!" And then obviously you start taking the losses, and then you think, "Right, I better learn this properly." So we've all been there. I'm not criticising anybody, because you've got to go through that stage to make you become a better trader. You know, you can't just do what we do straight off the bat. You've got to experience some pain before the gain. You know, because experience is what, as in a whole of life, experience is what you learn from. And that's what wheedles out the people who stay trading, and those who give it up after a few months and go, "It's not for me." That's fine. That's fine. That's why you join the group, for us to try and help you if you like the style of trading that we do. Like I say again, go to the website www.mohawkforex.com if you want to join our team. But yeah, thanks for a nice live stream. We've just done over an hour tonight. We'll be back next week for some more live streams to all the group. I'll see you on Sunday night where we do our regular Zoom lesson, where we go over our trades, and I teach people how to trade like I do. And until next time, take care all, trade safe.
Take care, trade safe. Cheers.
Yeah, we'll see you on the other side. Have a good weekend all. Take care.